Hi, my name's Andrew Patterson. I'm Managing Director of Great Boulder Resources, and this is my second video talking about geochemistry. So in the first one, I spoke about why geochemistry was important in unlocking Mulga Bill and in discovering ironbark, and now I'll talk a bit more about the future targets. So as a reminder, the flagship operation Sidewell here next to Meekatharra in the northern Murchison, and Polel just to the south, and I'll talk a bit about both of those projects. And we've spoken so far about Mulga Bill and ironbark. Now I want to talk about what we've seen in this 14-kilometre ironbark corridor. So looking at that, what we found here, this is a map of all the auger sampling, and this is just purely showing bismuth, which is our key pathfinder element for finding more Mulga Bill associated mineralisation or intrusive related mineralisation. So what you can see, the red dots here are more than 1 part per million bismuth, which is a significant anomaly. And we see this hot zone along the eastern side actually sitting on the granite contact, and then another more diffuse anomaly up to the north. Now, just as a reminder, there's no auger geochemistry over Mulga Bill because this area here is concealed by alluvial material, and therefore you can't actually see the gold mineralisation underneath. So now, if you show the arsenic, which is the pathfinder mineralisation or the key pathfinder for ironbark style mineralisation, what we see is a more elongate trend here, starting at the Saltbush prospect at the south end, and quite a large and again diffuse anomaly to the north. And what we see there is that both of these are sitting slightly further west of where the bismuth one is, and that's a key kind of temperature gradient from the hotter elements adjacent to the granite through to cooler elements away from the granite. So that's pretty interesting. Now, these are multi-kilometre trends. This whole thing is 14 kilometres long, so these are pretty big. And the other interesting thing to note here is that ironbark sits right in here, and there's not a lot of arsenic in ironbark, even though it was one of the key associations. So that would suggest that potentially these other targets are stronger. So if you draw those as collective heat maps, now this is the Mulga Bill association, and this is a combined heat map using geochemistry for gold, silver, bismuth, moly, and tungsten. And again, you can see these really nice kind of bullseye anomalies in the south to the east of Saltbush, and this big one at the north end. Then if you do the same technique of heat map geochemistry for gold, arsenic, and antimony, and again you see that trend around Saltbush and this big area up to the north of ironbark. This is about 3 to 4 kilometres north of ironbark, and we're just drill testing these areas now with air core drilling for the first time. So none of these things have been drilled before. So first proof of concept, in late December, we drilled Saltbush for the first time. Now this existing hole, SJPRC 002, was drilled by ESSO in 1986. So there's been no drilling there since then. We drilled this hole next to it and straight away found high grade gold. We found a mafic, ultramafic setting. Mafics are the green rocks in the middle. Ultramafic are the mauve colours on either side. That's a classic kind of brittle rocks in the middle, softer rocks around the outside. It's a classic orogenic gold setting, and importantly, it's almost exactly the same as ironbark. So then if you look further afield, down to the south, we've got this Polel project, which we're just starting to work on now. We've got the guys out there doing some chip sampling and mapping. And if you use the existing geochemistry on that, using the same techniques, what we find is this beautiful elongate ironbark style target here, which is a bit over 4 kilometres long. And importantly, that coincides with the Albury Heath shear zone, which is a known mineralised structure in the region. On the right-hand side here, we're looking at the Mulga Bill type pathfinder association. And again, we see a number of bullseye targets in there which require drill testing as well. So by extrapolating our IP of what we've learned from Sidewell, where the important geochemistry associations are there, and using that at Pol L, we think we've got a heap of great new targets that we'll be drilling this year. So that's all for this video. Thanks again for watching, and keep an eye out for more shortly.